Hey guys, thanks for coming back to my channel. It's good to see you. This is Kevin here, and I have a spring Bath & Body Works candle haul for you. I don't even know how that happened. I don't know how I got here to this point because unlike for fall, which is my go-to fragrance, home fragrance season, I don't pay a lot of attention to spring reviews and spring hauls. So I'm not really being influenced by any of the YouTubers to buy candles and to be interested in this stuff. You know, spring is probably my second favorite home fragrance season, right next to fall. Of course, nothing's ever going to compare to the fall season as far as home fragrance goes. But spring has always been my number two and quite a bit ahead of the holiday and winter season for me. A huge reason for that is I'm a big spring floral lover. So I love the spring florals, and that's a really big reason why I love spring home fragrance. I'm just not one of those people anymore that hang on every new release for the spring months and pays attention to it and watches the hauls and watches people talk about it. So I don't really have that kind of connection to it where I'm really thinking about everything that's coming out. So everything I have here from Bath & Body Works is stuff I went in to see this weekend and literally just learned about it this weekend when I walked into the store. And that's pretty much all I know about any of this stuff. So I really couldn't kind of give you a history lesson on anything I have here other than maybe one item. And, you know, it's not much of a history lesson for that anyway. So that's kind of just a long way of saying that I don't really spend a lot of time buying new spring stuff. But I have plenty of spring home fragrance to last me. It's not something that I really am going to put a lot of effort into, but I did want to kind of dip my toe into this stuff and see if there was anything maybe kind of spark some interest going forward, things that maybe I might want to buy multiples of at some point. So I'll probably have a couple of more hauls here from various candle companies. So it's not going to be something I'm going to be real dedicated towards. You know, I'm here for a good time, not for a long time as far as spring fragrance goes. Spring home fragrance, that is. I know every time I upload a Bath & Body Works video, I'll get like an influx of subscribers, and I'm just like, guys, no, I'm not that guy. Because I know people see me and they're like, oh, hey, cool, a guy that talks about Bath & Body Works candles. You don't see that every day. You'll see that quite a bit during the fall months, but as far as right now goes, no. There won't be a whole lot of Bath & Body Works content. You'll occasionally see it in a what I'm burning video, things like that. But as far as hauls go, really guys, I don't want to get your hopes up. I'm not really going to put these out regularly. And a little bit of backstory here, just before we get into this haul. How did this come about? Well, I'll tell you, I was going to start with Kringle. Of all companies, I was going to start with Kringle. I know, shocking. It even shocks me when I think about it or when I say it out loud, because Kringle was without a doubt from when I started last fall, which technically would have been last summer when I started with Kringle, from fall towards the end of the year with the holiday season. They were hands down the most boring candle company that I used. And I used many different form factors. I used, Country Candle. I used Kringle. I used their wax melts. I used 3 wicks, their new soy formula. I used the 2 wicks. I used the paraffin blend. I did it all. I used everything from Kringle, and they just didn't do it for me. So here I was about to place another Kringle order. I don't know why, but I guess it was just the fates that were telling me not to, because they were sold out of about 95% of the things I was gonna haul. And for one reason or another, that's Kringle in a nutshell. They still just have not figured it out. Every other candle company, for the most part, can keep everything in stock, at least for a decent amount of time. I mean, this aren't Hunger Games vendor wax that we're doing here, but it kind of feels like that with Kringle sometimes. I mean, they just want to produce just enough to where they don't have any leftover stock. So I've harped on it before with Kringle, and it's going to be a pretty sizable order focusing mainly around their Easter collection, but yeah, there's like one candle left in stock with their Easter collection. At this point, I don't know what to do with Kringle. That was really where I was going to start with spring, was with Kringle, and just didn't have anything in stock. Somebody has got to get in their ear and let them know that, yeah, guys, you want to sell things, you want to make some money here. Why not have it available for your customers? And from what I've kind of heard through the grapevine, that's not unusual for Kringle. It certainly wasn't unusual last fall when I was really looking forward to kind of getting into them last fall. So I took that money, used it with Homeworks, placed a huge Homeworks haul. You'll see that for spring here coming up pretty soon. But let's get into this Bath & Body Works stuff. I know a lot of people really kind of use Bath & Body Works as the whipping boy now, their own little personal whipping boy, especially here on YouTube. I don't know why that is. They're not that bad, guys. And I know they have their fan base, but there's just a certain amount of people that really feel like they want to focus their energy on picking on Bath & Body Works, and I just don't get it. I mean, they're not doing great things over here, but they're not doing any worse than really any other candle company there is. And, you know, just to kind of use an example, I used Kringle last year from, July until the end of the year. They had their own issues. Goose Creek had many, many issues as far as the burn of their candles and fragrances becoming monotonous and things like that. So Bath & Body Works kind of gets picked on. I think one huge reason for that is they're not prone to doing PR, so there's not really any circumstances where people feel like they're going to hurt somebody's feelings. If they really go in on them and just kind of nail it to them and tell the truth and just kind of be open about it and, not really worry about somebody maybe getting offended or something like that. Who knows the reasons? That's my theory behind it. I know nobody asked me, but I'm going to tell you what I think. So let's start off this haul. We're going to start it off with this one right here. It, of course, was this fragrance right here. This is the last year that I had this one. It is a Sweet Carrot Cake. So this is 2020's version of Sweet Carrot Cake. And here we have the 2024 version of Sweet Carrot Cake. So, long time ago, let's take a little bit of a time machine back to, I don't even remember when, what was it, 2018? I'm just going to kind of throw a date out there. And on Instagram, there was someone, a larger account, that said, hey guys, Bath & Body Works is listening. Post what fragrances, what candles you would like to see Bath & Body Works come out with. And mine was real simple. Give us a carrot cake for Easter. That's all I said. And the very next year, Bath & Body Works had a carrot cake candle for Easter. So, I'm not by any means taking credit for that. It's just a fun story that, want to mention when I get into this, because everybody's doing carrot cake now. I mean, everybody's doing carrot cake. I would love to see Homeworks do a carrot cake. They never have. And prior to that post on Instagram, Bath & Body Works hadn't done a carrot cake candle since their pumpkin carrot cake candle came out, many previous years prior to that. So I don't really remember what year that was. It's kind of a guesstimate for me. But yeah, that was one of the candles I mentioned I would love to see from Bath & Body Works, specifically for spring, but it would also make a great fall bakery fragrance. I love spring bakeries. I probably am one of those weird people that don't really care about bakery for the holidays. And while we're at it, not really that much for the fall season as well, but give me a good spring bakery. And to kind of mix it up, to kind of go from one end of the spectrum to the other, I really like a good spring floral too. So those two things, a spring bakery and a spring floral, love them. Sweet Carrot Cake, this one right here, I'm sure you guys have heard enough about it by now, but we'll talk about it real quick. Sweet cream cheese frosting, fruity carrot cake, and cinnamon spice. And yeah, that one is everything really that a carrot cake should be. And it does smell like a very fall candle. There is a lot of warm cinnamon here in this fragrance. So let's kind of compare the two candles while I have them here. Not going to say that they're different or anything. Why would they be? But let's smell this old 2020 version. Okay, yeah, smells great. Yep, that one smells great too. Okay, oh, and I didn't mention the lid there, but yeah, there's the Easter Bunny on the lid. And of course, it is that kind of ceramic lid that they have that's pretty thick there. I mean, that's a good solid lid for you. So if you want to use that for whatever you want to use it for, a coaster, whatever, that's a pretty good substantial amount of ceramic there, ceramic glass. But yeah, sweet carrot cake, it's really everything that you would want from a sweet bakery fragrance. That, you know, if you like a little bit of spice in your bakery, yeah, this is kind of what you want. And I remember when I mentioned that back then, I had actually been surprised that companies weren't doing carrot cake for spring. It just seemed like one of those spring bakery fragrances that just fits so well for the Easter holiday. We're gonna kick this haul off with that one right there. This next one is Main Street Bakery. Had no idea what to expect with this one. I saw it in the store and picked it up initially, took a sniff like this and thought, okay, I've smelled that before. That's a banana fragrance. That's a banana bakery. I've smelled it before, but it's not one exact fragrance. It's not an exact dupe of anything, but it is reminiscent of several different things from Bath & Body Works. While I was in the store, the first thing that came to mind was this one right here, was banana bundt cake. It's not this, but it has pieces of it, it feels like. Also kind of a vibe to banana nutmeg bread pudding as well. So little pieces of that. It's not that candle, but pieces of that. And then of course, their fall banana fragrance, which escapes me right now, but it's an amazing fall banana fragrance. That one too has a little bit of a piece of that one as well. You know, you kind of smell this on first impressions and it takes you back immediately to something that they've already done. And I can't count how many times that happens with me with Bath & Body Works, where I'll smell a fragrance and it's not exactly something else, but just very reminiscent of it. And in that way, it kind of makes Main Street Bakery a little bit redundant. The notes on it are fresh banana, vanilla wafers, and cinnamon sugar. And yeah, I mean, it's a banana pudding fragrance, really. I don't know why they didn't call this banana pudding. I think that probably would have gotten people's attention more than that, Main Street Bakery, but it's a nice one. It's similar to other things that they have without being exactly those other things. But in some cases, it does feel a little bit redundant once I start to smell these other things that I already have. And then the next one, this one right here, Hummingbird Teacake. The fragrance notes on this are pineapple cake batter, cinnamon spice, and toasted pecan. And this one kind of reminded me of something else they had already done before too. Okay, there's a noticeable maraschino cherry feel to this a little bit. I mean, it kind of smells like a mixture of like almond cake, maraschino cherries, stuff like that. But when I smelled that in the store, now keep in mind I was in the store, so I wasn't comparing anything. But when I smelled that in the store, I immediately thought of this right here, pineapple pancakes. And we haven't seen this since 2020. So it's not a repackage of it at all, but it reminded me of it. So on the spot when I was there, that's what my mind took me back to. There's definitely a more juicy pineapple in pineapple pancakes. Now, we have not seen this since 2020, to my knowledge anyway. I'm not a historian by any means with spring candles from Bath & Body Works, but I'm pretty sure we have not seen pineapple pancakes since 2020, the first year that it came out. And that's kind of what Hummingbird Teacake reminded me of. But instead of just direct pineapple, it does have a maraschino cherry feel to it. Almost an almondy feel to it as well, kind of like an almond cake. So tea cakes, yeah, I've smelled several different tea cake fragrances in vendor wax. So a little bit of a similarity there to those. almost kind of smells like banana to some degree too, but not necessarily directly banana. I mean, it's syrupy sweet. It kind of has that syrupy sweetness that a lot of Goose Creek candles have. You know, Goose Creek is known for that DNA of a lot of their fragrances that are bakery fragrances, or when they try to emulate a donut fragrance, they'll end up making it very, very syrupy sweet, almost to the point of being too much sweetness. That's kind of what this reminds me of to some degree. Hummingbird Teacake, but I was in search of bakery fragrances when I was at Bath & Body Works. And with as many people as there was this weekend, I mean, that place was packed. It was a packed house. You could barely even move around. And I'm one of those people that hates being in crowds. And in the sea of all these candles and trying to figure out what's what, and having not been in the store yet this year, this is my first time in a Bath & Body Works store, I felt like I had several different things that I wanted to sniff, and there was just a bunch of things that was just, no, pass. I don't want that. I mean, things that it kind of just reminded me of why I don't go to Bath & Body Works for spring. It's just too much stuff that you kind of have to sift through to get to the things that are at least halfway decent. Hummingbird Teacake. And while I'm on that, there are a couple of things that I kind of want to go back for that I don't think I got to smell. Almond Croissant was one of them, and there was one other floral fragrance that I want to revisit. It's kind of tough smelling things in the heat of the moment when you're there. Even a couple of these things, when I smelled there, I thought I really liked them, and then I got them home and I was less enthusiastic about them. So that happens to me. This one right here had its own little collection of its own, and this was the only one that I picked up of it. It's called Anna's Garden, and the notes on this are orange blossom, white tea, and jasmine musk. And the reason why I picked this up, this is so reminiscent of a fragrance from Destination Wax, and I don't know if she has it anymore. I don't know if it's been discontinued. Her scent list is constantly changing because of discontinuation, things that are getting put to the wayside. Very reminiscent though of her orange blossom fragrance that she has. I mean, dead on almost. And she had that several years ago. I mean, we're talking back 2017, around there. Almost dead on to that. This is a gorgeous soapy orange blossom fragrance. Love that. Probably the best orange blossom, pure orange blossom, soapy, almost a little bit body care, but not beautiful. And the last one I have in this haul, I have no idea if this is a repackage of something, if this has been out before, if maybe this is an Easter candle that they had out last year or previous years, but I love it. And it's this one right here. It is Happy Easter Daffodil Daydreams. I love daffodils. I love daffodils in personal fragrance, home fragrance as well, if you can do it right. Scentsy has a great daffodil fragrance that I smelled for the first time last year. And I also picked up the body spray in that one too, the Daffodil Daydreams. That's probably more for my daughter. She's 8 years old and loves this stuff, this type of stuff, body spray and that kind of stuff. But Happy Easter, notes on it are whipped marshmallow, pastel clouds, and sweet daffodil. Okay, this reminds me of something that they've had before in body care, and I can't really remember what it is. Is it that marshmallow latte candle that they used to have? The marshmallow in this smells like that marshmallow. So while they might not be exact replicas of each other as far as the fragrance goes, it's very reminiscent of that. And I don't have it in front of me to smell, but I mean, there's pieces of this that are just taking me directly back to that fragrance. And I love it. I mean, I love that they took a floral and decided to use it with a marshmallow and kind of sweeten it up a little bit and gourmand it up a little bit. And I love everything about the packaging here on this one. Happy Easter, Daffodil Daydreams. That is a huge winner as far as cold sniff goes. So there you guys have it. That is my first spring haul from any candle company since, I want to say 2020. I think my last haul, I was on Instagram, my last spring haul from a candle company, and it was from Goose Creek, no less, who just does not do spring very well. They don't do florals very well, or they didn't used to do them very well. So that's a little bit of irony for you. A spring haul that it's taken that many years to come back to. You'll probably see a few of these show up in a what I'm burning video. I won't do individual reviews or anything like that. I'm gonna have a homework spring haul coming up here pretty soon. So keep an eye out for that one. I appreciate you guys watching. I'll talk to you soon. See ya.